Hey, what's going on, people? Check it out. Everybody's always asking me, how do you use this theory inside of practical playing? You know, where do you use this stuff? We're going to be talking about how you use that, where it comes from, and how to put it in your playing right now. So for an example, I'm just playing a groove in D Dorian. Kind of got carried away a little bit using some different effects, using the looper pedal. By the way, MXR clone looper is what I'm using right now, if you guys happen to care. Anyway, so I'm using a looper pedal, just creating a beat, creating a vibe here. So the mode that I choose to use in this groove is a Dorian mode. So I'm just staying there, laying down the foundation in this vibe in the key of B. So minor scale with a natural 6. Now, when I'm talking about modes, I'm talking about Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian. Sounds like I'm talking a different language, right? So those are the modes. Those are just the key center of what we're trying to base it off of. So I'm in the key of B Dorian. So that's what I'm using as my base. If it was Ionian, it would be. If it was Aeolian or minor, natural minor, it will be with that regular minor 6 instead of that one note makes the difference. So I'm just choosing to play in that mode. So this is where I would use that same exact thing. When I did a little bit of soloing, if you guys can see, I started playing around with that mode. So I based it off of that. That's one way we can implement modes into our playing. Most times when you play funk or you hear it, it's mostly in that Dorian mode, that minor third and a natural 6, or a Mixolydian mode, that major third and a flat 7. So sometimes you hear those two. Those are the most common to me that I hear, but those are the ones that I like or that I prefer. So let's just play around with that groove and I'll show you how that Dorian scale fits inside of it. Here we go. And then with that bass line, I'm doing a very simple bass line going from B to A to the D to that minor third to the F sharp and I'm just using a thumb index finger technique so I can kind of rake that a little bit better instead of plucking it. Usually when I find that, let's go off topic for a minute. But usually when I pluck with the thumb and the index, it's easier for me to swing that versus swinging with playing the index and the middle finger. It's harder to do that. So I usually use my thumb and my index. Anyway, so I use my thumb and my index just for that technique. Let's get back to the groove. So Dorian scale, B Dorian scale. Now, strictly talking improv, you can go all over the place with this Dorian scale. Yeah, so right there, I like that. I like that. That A flat, which is the natural 6, which makes that different from a natural minor scale. So that natural 6, when you land on that, it just gives that essence. So I like to play around with that note a lot just to make sure, hey, I'm in Dorian, just to let them know, let whoever, you know, who's listening know that this is Dorian. And I did that with that upper part. Same thing, right? Utilizing that natural 6 to its advantage. So right here, I can use the scale. You know, using the natural minor, not natural minor, but the Dorian scale around the fretboard. And I'm using an extended version of this scale so I can think of more ideas, because if you're stuck in the box with 1 through octave, sometimes it's harder to think of different phrases and different ideas or be as creative as you can be. So I would learn that on the E string first position. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, stretch 4, 1, 3, stretch 4 again. Same thing, next string, 1, 3, stretch 4. And it's pretty simple too, because you have the same thing on 3 strings. You get it? So very simple. So you can mix those notes around. And mix those notes around, have fun with. So I'm just taking the shape. If you see, visualize the shape with me. Focus in on the shape, right? So using 3 notes on 1 string, 3 notes on the next string, 3 notes on the next string. All you're doing is going down the string and using the same exact notes. Using the same exact position, but different notes. So it's easier to visualize that versus trying to make up or trying to figure out, okay, is this a minor 6? Is this a natural minor 6? Is this a minor 3rd? Is this a flat 5? Is, trying to figure that out. So visualize it. Just playing random notes, but hear how it sounds. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just playing around now, but you see this shape. You see, I was creating ideas, just playing with the visual shape, coming up with some things, just experimenting. That's what it's all about. I come up with that arpeggio. Yeah, coming up with arpeggios and things like that that you can use that are inside of the scale. And we've learned about these arpeggios already inside of it as well. So you have a Dorian arpeggio or a minor 7 arpeggio starting from the root note, B flat, minor 3, 5 flat 7 or minor 7. And that is just the a dominant 7. So a major triad with a flat 7 on the top. Okay, and that's just going up using the Mixolydian mode. So the Dorian scale, which is the key that we're in, starting on the B, and the Mixolydian scale would land on the E, the major scale with the flat 7, right underneath. And if you take the arpeggio of that one, that's where you get that arpeggio that I kind of discovered or came across while just experimenting. But I played it in a different position. I moved that 3, I did it first position, so 1, stretch 3, second finger for the 5, or the 5 of that arpeggio, and the flat 7 there. And I can stretch, now I can stretch, because I did it in that position, I can stretch now to that F sharp. So there's so much you can think of and come up with when you're playing this type of groove and this type of Dorian groove. Just think of the scale, think of the arpeggios. I was talking before inside of the academy to one of the members trying to figure out songs, or when you're playing a groove or when you're playing with a band and you sit down and you try to figure it out, your ear might not be that great, but there's a few things that you need to know, or you need to try to discover or try to understand before you go to play. First of all, it's just the tonality of the song, of the key, if it's major or minor, just off the bat. That's one thing. The next thing are, what are the chords? What key are they in? What's the actual key? What's the note, right? What's the note? We got to find that too. Also, the scale that they're using. It could be a minor, but it could be a Dorian, but it could be a natural minor. Okay, so that's the next thing we need to figure out, because that'll determine the chord tones inside of the arpeggios or the chords that we use. Next thing is, I said chord tones, right? So chord tones, right? The next thing is the melody, or whatever melody is being used inside of that. Sometimes that helps determine what the key of the song, or what the feel or the vibe of the song, or the tonality of the song is, as far as the chord tones go, and the chord progression. So the melody sometimes takes, precedence when you're trying to figure that out. All right. So all of those things, or all of those elements, you can combine into figuring that out. And sometimes people that are really talented, or some people that have a lot of experience, they figured it out in 1 second because they've been doing it for so long. But that's just time. That takes time, and you'll be able to analyze and dissect and rip apart a song as soon as you hear it. Okay, boom, that's that chord. I can play it back to you. Sometimes you see that with, well, not sometimes, but with perfect pitch, somebody being able to sing back the same exact note, or know exactly what note you're singing, or what note is being played at the time, within a split second. So anyway, hopefully this gave you some ideas of just what you can use and how this corresponds with playing modes or theory inside of grooves, or inside of your everyday playing. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully that gave you some ideas that you can use. Take them, stretch them, take them and run with them. I say that all the time. And hopefully you can get something from it. If you guys are interested in taking your bass playing to the next level, strongly suggest that you check out Bass Nation Academy. That's where it's at. We have a video Q&A section there. It's just a member area, or the whole thing is a membership area. But video Q&A section, I'll give you personal feedback. So if you're struggling with anything, you'll be able to upload your video, and we can converse and talk back and forth, so you can enhance your playing just that much more, just from me personally. So that's a great feature of the site. That's just that's tip of the iceberg. But anyway, there's so much more. There's live stream classes. There's lessons being released all the time. There's courses. There are beginner courses, slap courses, gospel courses, coming up really soon, actually. More courses, modes courses, theory courses. But anyway, if you're interested in that, please go check it out. It'll be in the description, or I'll put a link here on the screen somewhere. You'll be able to get to it. And then when you get there, shoot me a message. Let me know you came from YouTube. I would love to see subscribers coming and transition into the Academy. It's a great feeling just to see your progress, and just to see guys with a familiar face coming into the Academy. Anyway, won't bore you anymore with that. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Write them in the comment section. Make sure you're also coming out clean, clear, and precise, like I always say. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.